Maybe the ghosts were just hoping to get an autograph. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 celebs who've had actual ghost encounters.
Out of all the little things that it could have said, the one thing that the little toy had said was, basically, are you communicating with me?
And I walk these streets, a little six-string on my back.
Are you a fan of Supernatural? Click here to sign in with your Google or Facebook account and take the new trivia quiz on WatchMojo.com. It's pretty hard, but get it right and you could win a collectible box from Culturefly, loaded with exclusive Supernatural toys, accessories, and apparel. Click here or follow the link in the description.
I'm wanted, dead or alive.
For this list, we're looking at actors, musicians, and other celebs who claim to have had encounters with the paranormal. Whether you believe their accounts or not, they certainly make for some interesting stories.
But is that a ghost or is that just some weird floating jacket?
That's a reason to move to me. I don't know what it is, but...
Number 10. Jessica Alba. In an interview with the Sydney Morning Herald, the former Dark Angel described a terrifying encounter she had at the tender age of 17. She recalled waking up in the night to find herself held down by an unseen force, unable to move or call for help. Eventually, the future actress was able to regain control of her body and make a break for it. We'd be willing to chalk this one up to a case of sleep paralysis. But years later, Alba took a selfie only to see the specter of a black-eyed figure looming in the background. So maybe we shouldn't be so quick to dismiss her story. Number 9. Miley Cyrus. While touring in Europe, Hannah Montana herself had a series of spooky encounters in a flat just across the street from the Harrods department store in London. While using the apartment as her home on tour, Cyrus reports to have seen the specter of a small boy sitting on the sink while she was in the shower. Her little sister even had an encounter of her own when the water from the shower suddenly turned blazing hot with no explanation. After Cyrus's family, including boyfriend Liam Hemsworth, apparently had some scares themselves, the family packed up and moved to the less haunted Soho Hotel. A good apartment really is hard to find. Number 8. Emma Stone.
Now, have you had an inexplicable situation that you think was metaphysical?
I've had a few.
Like, give us an example.
Things materializing.
The star of Birdman, Easy A, and La La Land claims to have her own spiritual follower, but one much less frightening than some of the others on our list. While promoting her 2014 movie Magic in the Moonlight, which deals with the supernatural, Stone told David Letterman that the spirit of her dead grandfather has a tendency to leave quarters around. How does she know it's her grandpa? Because, in her words, her family has a long history with quarters.
There's a long family history with quarters. My grandfather leaves quarters.
Quarters.
And it's just amazing. It's him. It's absolutely him.
We're not sure exactly what that means, but we also wouldn't say no to a ghostly family member leaving us with some extra pocket change.
That's the joy of it. It's not, it's not a logical thing, it's magical.
Number 7. Selena Gomez.
And I'm sitting here having a conversation on the balcony with my ex-boyfriend, and we were talking and hanging out, and all of a sudden he stopped and he was like, "Oh my gosh." And I go, "What? Don't do that. What happened?"
This story sounds like it's straight out of a horror movie. Back in 2011, Selena Gomez told Z100 that her house is haunted by a little girl in a white dress. She described 3 separate encounters with the spectral being, each of which sounded more terrifying than the last. While many supposed ghost encounters can be chalked up to all being in the person's head, the pop sensation says that 2 other people, her mother and her ex-boyfriend, also claim to have seen a figure dressed in white in her house. How spooky is that?
Someone walked by in white, and she turns around and she goes, "Why is Brian running?" And she turns around and Brian was right there.
Number 6. Cher. Sonny Bono and this world-famous singer and actress were married for over a decade, a union that saw them rise to the top of the charts as music sensations thanks to hits like I Got You, Babe.
Babe, I got you, babe.
The pair divorced in 1975, and Bono tragically died following a skiing accident in 1998. But the former Mrs. Bono claims that her longtime partner is still by her side. According to her, Bono's spirit resides in her house and occasionally plays with the lights on her classy chandelier.
So, is Sonny Bono's ghost really haunting your house? We gotta know.
Yeah, I think so.
So he's messing with the lights?
No, he's not messing with them. He's just playing with them.
She doesn't believe the spirit means her any harm or ill will, and she doesn't mind the ghostly presence at all.
Is it like a peaceful thing, or is it kind of like?
No, it's a totally peaceful thing.
Okay, good, because I was like, we might have to get a medium in there if it wasn't cool, you know?
Number 5. Lady Gaga. Any celebrity will tell you that a persistent fan or stalker is pretty much a nightmare scenario when you're in showbiz. But this takes that scary situation to a whole new level. According to an alleged report quoting a member of the singer's touring group, Gaga was being followed by a ghost named Ryan, who'd follow her no matter where she goes on tour. There are further rumors that she spent a staggering 30,000 pounds on an electromagnetic field meter, a machine that can detect the presence of spirits and other entities. Number 3. Keanu Reeves.
Have you ever seen a ghost?
Yes.
You have?
Yeah, when I was a kid.
Really?
Yeah.
By all accounts, the star of The Matrix and John Wick is one of the nicest guys in Hollywood, despite what some of his on-screen personas would have you believe. Talking with Jimmy Kimmel, the action star excitedly recounted his own brief encounter with the paranormal from when he was a young child. According to the Bill and Ted star, an empty jacket floated into the room when he was in bed, giving a fright to his nanny.
She's sitting, my sister's asleep, she's sitting over there, I'm like hanging out, there's a doorway. All of a sudden we're looking over there and this like jacket comes waving through the doorway. Like just an empty, there's no head, there's no body, there's no legs, it's just there, and then it disappears.
In typical fashion though, the future star took it in stride.
And then I looked over at the nanny and she's like this. And I'm like, oh wow, so that was real.
The apparition vanished as soon as it appeared, probably because it realized it was messing with a future action movie badass. Number 2. Carrie Fisher.
After a while in the house, there was this really strong sense of a presence in the house.
In February of 2005, Republican media advisor R. Gregory Stevens was found dead at the home of the late great actress. The two had been longtime friends, and Stephen apparently passed away while sleeping in the former Princess Leia's guest bedroom. But according to the actress, the spirit of her friend stuck around, causing lights to go on and off, and triggering a profanity-spewing toy kept in her closet.
Through the wall, I heard...
The spirit allegedly drove her nuts, and from the sound of things, we can't say we blame her.
I said, Greg, stop it. That is not funny.
Despite her many ups and downs, it can't be argued that the princess lived a very spiritual life. Before we unveil our number 1 pick, here are some honorable mentions.
Okay.
So then she said she had to exercise my body, and then I got a ghost meter to read, and it just beeped just at my vagina.
When I was a little girl, my mom walked into the room, and I was talking to something. And my mom was like, who are you talking to? I was like, it's the little girl in the picture frame. Her name is Emily.
And for weeks, everyone that came over to the house said the same things. There's someone down in that hall. There's someone down in that. I said, I know. And I'm not one to say I believe or don't believe in ghosts, but people kept coming. I would not tell them.
Number 1. Oprah Winfrey.
I do believe that. I believe in, psychic energy and all that. Some people have the ability to see things that I don't. I told Jesus I really didn't want it.
And speaking of charmed lives, this cultural icon is no slouch either, thanks to her legendary career in television and film. In 2015, the actress and TV personality shared a particularly spooky encounter when Akosia Buja, her co-star from the 1985 film The Color Purple, was staying in her home in Chicago. After waking up in the middle of the night, she saw an apparition move across the room and vanish into the wall.
I don't know. I woke up in the middle of the night. I saw a ghost in the room. I'm telling you, it was a ghost in the room. And I didn't want to believe it was a ghost in the room because I never believed in ghosts or didn't believe in ghosts.
The morning after, Buja claims that she had been trying to get the unwanted spirit out of her room and finally pushed it under the door and right into her host's bedroom.
Okay, so the next morning, Akuswa says to me, I had the worst night of my life. I was fighting this ghost all night long. And finally, I was able to push him under the door. And I said, and you pushed him in my room!
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from WatchMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.